Welcome to Before Floor, the before edition of Five on the Floor by the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo, and today I'm joined by Mateo Mayorga, who is just a black screen at this point, and we are joined by Time.
He's on
And
the
there he
dark
is.
side.
There's Mateo. And then Alejandro is running us here on the ones and twos. Now, as you guys are filtering in, like always, if you guys are driving home right now, make sure you guys drive safe. And if you're listening from the home, make sure you grab something to drink, chill with us for a little bit. And if you have any comments, drop it down in the chat. Now, before we get into the game, the rematch against the Boston Celtics, obviously we lost in game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston. We were one shot away, just a little bit short. But we're finally getting the chance to get a little bit of redemption. Regular season doesn't matter quite as much, but just a little bit of a get back for us. But before we get into that, I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. First of all, Mark Brown PA, right? That's MARC Brown PA. If you're young and with a family and you want to make sure your assets go to the right people, if something happens to you, reach out to Mark Brown PA. That's marcbrownpa.com, or reach out to him at 954-866-8513. He's based out of North Lauderdale. He services the entire area, and he's a Heat fan as well. So make sure you support him and not some Celtics fan or Lakers fan who just moved here for Florida for the tax purposes. So 944, like I said, check out that number, 866-8513. And also, check out prizepicks.com. Make sure you use the promo code 5. This is your destination for daily fantasy. If you use the code 5, you'll double your deposit up to $100. So essentially, that's $100 free money if you want to throw that down in there. So make sure you use the code 5. Go to prizepicks.com and make sure you guys sign up. It's pretty easy. It's daily fantasy, so you're not drafting a team. You're picking a couple players, going the over, going the under. You can even go flex play. So if you get one of them wrong, you can still win your bets. Now, guys, Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics. Now, before we get into this game, there was a couple of concerns of last game that we want to that might translate over into this game. And the defense was something that I think kind of stuck out to us. Defensively, it didn't seem like they were as locked in as we've seen this team locked in before. And potentially that could be a schematic change with not having a guy like PJ Tucker being able to box out a big and do things like get rebounding. But defensively, the Heat just looked a little bit slow, and they didn't do a good job containing guys like DeMar DeRozan. So, Mateo, I'll go to you on this one, man. What did you see last game from the defense? And as a team as a whole, what do you think they need to do tonight a little bit better?
Well, one thing that really caught my eye was them hunting down Tyler Hero. He was targeted on 16 possessions, and Chicago scored on 14 of those. DeMar hunted him down. It'll be important for the Heat when Boston does that tonight to switch everything as much as possible to send help Hero's direction, also on pick and roll coverage, because Boston's ball handlers are very versatile. It's depending on who they're guarding, they will have to either ice or play tight on the ball handler and the roll man. But something that was a huge concern that the Heat have to do better was defending transition, because I saw a lot of ball watching on that end of the floor, which opened up mismatches created off cuts to the baskets. Those are things I'm looking for the Heat to do better tonight, Jonathan.
Nice. Now, on an individual basis, right? We have somebody like Jaylen Brown, who is similar to the build of DeMar DeRozan. I would probably say he's probably a little bit better of a three-point shooter, but he has that mid-range savvy where he'll come in and kind of beat you in that zone where not too many players take you there. Timmy, I'll go to you on this one. DeMar went 14 for 22 with 9 assists in his last game against Miami, and it didn't really look too hard for him. Of course, he's going to make some tough shots. He's the mid-range master, but we didn't make it as hard as I felt like we should have. With somebody like Jaylen Brown having a similar game style, what do we need to do specifically for him to make sure he doesn't do what DeMar did?
And the scary part about it is that Jaylen is definitely a heat killer, or has been a heat killer these last couple of games. And you can't really double and blitz too much, because you have Tatum, even though he gets very inefficient when he plays against the Heat. Like there are more weapons on the Celtics. So but I do think you have to do some more quick doubles. Not hard doubles, just a quick, show and recover. Because we know that Jalen's handle is not as tight as it should be. Like I can't remember what game was the play. I'll say like 8 turnovers. So when he's on the dribble, just bother him a bit. I like when Hero, just does a little show and recover. Bother him on those drives, and just stay attached to him, because Jalen maybe it seems to happen just against the Heat. Jalen gets open for like the perfect corner threes or the mid range jumpers against the Heat. So just keep track of him, and when he dribbles, like play on the fact that he doesn't have the best handle. I mean, go back to the DeRozan, man. I know I said on the pregame last time that he was the only issue, but wow, he like lit up the Heat. Like I said, he missed only like 8 shots for all game. But maybe some rust, maybe, but like Brady said a lot too. I don't know if the Heat were the Heat. The scheme was good. It looked comfortable, but this was I don't know if it was a mental lapse or energy lapse. It's just like they're always like a second too late on some rotations in the second half last game.
Yeah, in a game of inches like the NBA, you can't be a second or 2 seconds late. Like the rotations need to be a little more crisp than they were last night. And then, like you said, if they're going to send help, they can't hesitate on sending help. They either need to send help, then make sure they get somebody to recover, or just don't send help at all and make sure that they're waiting for somebody back down low. That little in between where you're kind of giving the off player a little bit more space to get that shot off, that's not working. They need to just be a little more assertive with the decisions. Now, somebody who was a little more assertive last game and who actually I felt played probably was the best player on the Heat, maybe between him and Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, with all the expectations coming in, with the new contract extension, obviously it doesn't kick in until after, but with all the expectations coming in, he showed you a little bit more diversity. By no means was it a perfect game, but he's shown you that he can make he's making strides to become a better player. Alejandro, where he's going to be playing against a backcourt of Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart. That's a really tough defensive backcourt. Do you think he has a similar game tonight like he did against Chicago, or do you think that defensive backcourt will make things too hard for him to have a good game tonight?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Tyler Hero did struggle last year in the postseason, right? And when he had to face better defense, he did struggle last year. That's the thing that we're expecting this year. I mean, we need Tyler Hero to really produce, especially now that he's getting another shot at starting. It didn't go well a couple of years ago, so it's definitely a different expectation now. He's playing a different position too, and you know what? He was one of the good news from last game, like you said. I mean, Jimmy Butler did his job, Max Strus did his job coming off the bench, and of course, the Boston Celtics, when they look at this Miami Heat team, they have to pinpoint Tyler Hero as one of the guys to stop on offense. They know it's hard to stop Jimmy Butler. He's gonna hurt you in different ways, and he's gonna do it constantly. But with Tyler Hero, I guess that's the guy that you really gotta go after. And be careful with Bam Adebayo too. Remember what happened in Game 3 at Boston when Bam was a little hurt because of what happened in the first 2 games of that series. So I would say yes to Tyler Hero. Hopefully makes an adjustment to whatever they throw at him. But I would be also looking at Bam Adebayo tonight, of course, because what happened in that first game, like he said, he can't miss those shots, right? So that would be the one of the adjustments that I want to see tonight from the Miami Heat.
Yeah, so Mateo, let's expand on Bam a little bit, right? That first game, not good. Not good at all. I mean, like Alejandro said, he was missing some bunnies. It just seemed like he wasn't there mentally locked in all the way. It just seems like the Bam Adebayo that we saw when he was at a peak of his powers, I guess we can say, was just always making decisions, hitting the shots, hitting the players, doing everything that you want him to do. Last game, he put up the shots. He had 15 shots, which is more or less what you want him to get us to, but he still wasn't making the ones you wanted to make to. Now, before we get on to Bam Adebayo, the most consistent man in 5 Reasons history, the unidentified celebrity review. Thank you for the $5 dono. Less than 100 subs away from 20K. Get these boys over the hump before November. Yes, if you guys are not subscribed right now, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit the like button as well. If you love the Miami Heat sports, right? It's free and it helps us out. Make sure that everybody else who's not seeing us right now, that is a Heat fan, gets this recommended to them. So if you're a Heat fan, make sure you like the video as well. We appreciate that as always. So Mateo, I think I was going to you with this one. Bam Adebayo didn't have the best game last time out, but they had a pretty big front court, right? Vucevic, Drummond, a couple of big guys. The Boston Celtics aren't necessarily that big. Obviously, everybody says Robert Williams is this big Bam Adebayo stopper. I'm not buying that. I think Bam Adebayo can have a bounce back game tonight. What do you think he has tonight? Do you think tonight's a bounce back game, or do you think the struggle continues?
I think it is a bounce back game. Bam Adebayo is a high character player, and I don't think the front court in the last game had much to do with anything. Bam missed open shots, and that wavers your confidence will waver when you're missing such easy opportunities. I think it got to a point where he just wanted to help his team and just look to be effective in other ways. Tonight, since the Heat are a smart team, I'm expecting to see Al Horford stretched out to the perimeter by like the elbow area or a little in front. That should open up lanes for Bam Adebayo into the interior. I think he's going to have a solid night. I think he's going to also crash the glass hard. I don't think we're going to remember much of what happened in the opener after tonight with Bam.
You're muted, I think.
Oh, Mute.
Jonathan, you're muted.
There we go. The rebounding,
There
a
it is.
little bit of an issue, right? The Bulls were 29th in the league last year in rebounding, and the last game that we played against them, or essentially the first game of the season, we tied the Bulls in rebounding. Now we know when Bam Adebayo switches out to the top of the key, or if he has to pick up the point of attack defender. We used to have PJ Tucker being able to pick up and get those rebounds, but now we don't have anybody down low that's able to box out those big guys and kind of just secure those rebounds or get those possessions necessary. Do you think this is going to be an ongoing process, Timmy, or do you think that the Heat can figure something out to help with the rebounding tonight?
No, I think this is something we projected through all summer. Like the Heat decided when they let PJ Tucker go, we are going to focus on offense, and this is the downside to starting Caleb Martin, because even though he and Tucker are the same height, 6'5", the different playing styles. So the Heat will have to somehow figure out how to compensate for the rebounds you will miss on. Because again, if Bam hits those bunnies, if we finish those defensive possessions, we wouldn't be talking about the rebound disparity. We'd have a win. But I do think that's a, I guess you say, acceptable loss. Like the Heat knows that they're not gonna win their games for rebounding, but there are other parts of the game that they can win and hope to win. Because I just don't see it. Maybe when Big Yurt gets into rotation after his ankle injury, we see that he just eats rebounds on the when Bam is out or with Bam. But as currently constructed, no, I think we're going to constantly lose the rebound battle, but we'll have to win the steals, the loose balls, the fast break game. I just don't see it. No, the Heat are just a small team, especially when Bam goes out. Like basically, Deadman, and I think Deadman even sometimes gets stretched out on defense when he drops. So yeah, I just don't see us being a overly rebounding team this season.
Now, I got a couple of rapid fire questions that I'm going to ask you guys. The first one is being there's always a debate between Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum. Who is the better player, right? Real quick, who has a better game tonight overall? Rapid fire. Alejandro, I'll let you start.
I'm gonna go with Jimmy Butler, and I'm gonna say that's not a fair comparison. One is at the end of their career, the other guy is just a rising star. But I'm gonna go with Jimmy Butler.
Mateo?
I'm going to go with Tatum. I take some exception to the end of his career because he's still an all-star. But
Mateo's wearing green tonight.
It's a Gators shirt, okay? Listen. But no, I got Jason Tatum tonight. I think he's going to have 30.
Timmy?
No, yeah. For some reason, Bam he always makes sure that his group chat buddy does not play well against the Heat. So I think it's Jimmy. Tatum has had some horrible games against the Heat, like 2 feet 11, 7 rebounds. I always expect Jaylen Brown to have the big game against the Heat. So no, Jimmy for sure.
Timmy, I'll go back to you on this one. Last game, the Heat had 19 turnovers. Turnovers have been an issue over the last couple of years. They've just not taken care of the ball. And that, when you bring Kyle Lowry in, that's something you expect to get a little bit better. Is we're going to take better care of the ball. We're not going to make those simple mistakes that'll cost you games down the line. So we're going to go 16.5 over or under for the turnovers. Timmy, I'll let you start.
Against this Boston team, yeah, sadly I'm going to say over. 19 last game. You're playing a team that has White, Smart, and Brogdon. Yeah, sad to say I could see some pressure on these boys tonight. Yeah, I'd say over 16.5.
So, teammate, you think it's gonna be a low-scoring game then?
Yes, actually, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mateo?
I'm going to go with the over. The Heat struggled last year with taking care of the ball early in the season, and they ultimately improved. But I'm expecting more of a high-scoring game. I don't see Boston adjusting to the high-level defense after one performance this early in the season.
Alejandro?
I hope they clean it up a little bit, but I think the same as the guys. They're gonna go over. Hopefully, it's just 17 and not too many.
Yeah, exactly, right. Hopefully it's just a little bit, right? But yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think there's still a little bit of rust that this team is going through as far as just figuring out how everything is going to move and how everything's going to fit both offensively and defensively. Greg's chiming in, said he thinks it's going to be a big Tyler Hero game tonight. So let's finish off with that one as far as our over and unders. Tyler Hero, over or under 23.5 points. Alejandro, I'll start with you.
Ooh, that's what it is right now on Price Picks.
Oh no, I'm making that up from top of my head.
Okay, you're making.
I'll look up the Price Picks number though right now.
Let's look it up real quick. Let's do this. It's live TV. It's fun. All right, Let's do this. Tyler Hero points. It's actually 19.5. So I would go over this on Price Picks right now. 19.5. That's what's right now. So if you go right now in Price Picks, you're going to get that. But your question was 23.5 over
Yes.
or under? Woo, that's a hard one. I'm going to go
I think
under that
over.
one.
I'll say over actually. Yeah.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go with the over because last time Tyler played against this team in Game 7, he was not on the court a very long time because of his injury, and Tyler's taken a lot of heat this summer. I think he has something to prove.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think this team as a whole, especially with the loss in the Eastern Conference Finals, has something to prove against the Boston Celtics. So I'll let you guys each give me a key or two for tonight's game and then give me a prediction. Timmy, I'll start with you with this one. Give me a key or two and then give me a prediction, man.
Just like I said, reduce the turnovers and just turnovers. They have to be low. Even though I think it's gonna go over, you have to get low because if this team runs against you, it's blowout.
Mateo?
When the Celtics sag off Lowry to clog driving lanes, I would like to see Kyle create a pin down and some heat will curl behind him to create a catch and shoot opportunity to create space in that moment. So that's what I'd like to see.
Alejandro with the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Alejandro.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question because my internet went down. Can you repeat it,
I was
please?
saying, give me a couple of keys for tonight's game and then give me your prediction.
I think they have to clean up the defense, man. That's going to be the key against these tough teams. I mean, just in general in the NBA, you have to play good defense, and that's one of the things that the Miami Heat actually pride themselves on. So I'm going to go with the defense because I mean, if you listen to all of the interviews after games, the post game interviews, they were all worried about defense. They were not worried about what happened on offense, about Bam Adebayo missing shots. I don't know, other people not scoring as many points, Kyle Lowry not scoring as many points as we wish. They were all worried about defense. So I would say that would be the key for this game.
Yeah. Now, Sean Rochester asking Deadman over or under 1.5 moving screens. I'm taking the over all day long.
Over 3 or 4.
I'm not sure if this is just for one quarter because then maybe it's a little bit more competitive. But if it's for the full game, you're taking the over on that. But since I go by 3-piece combo, I'll give you guys 3 keys for tonight's game. The first one, I think, like you guys talked about, the turnovers. We can't give a young athletic team turnovers and easy baskets, right? We're not an uber athletic team. Like we have Bam Adebayo and then a couple of athletes, right? They can jump out the gym. They got guys that can dunk on you. So we don't want to be giving them transition points or transition layups. The second thing is we're going to have to make sure that we rebound, right? They're a team that is going to be similar in size as far as Caleb Martin could be put on Jason Tatum, and that's a decent matchup for us, right? And defensively, that's a decent matchup as far as making sure that we can get the rebound and not get on the offensive glass. So I think rebounding is going to be the second most important thing. And the last one, like I said, Bam Adebayo is going to have to be have the biggest impact in tonight's game. He's not going to have to score the most, but he's going to have to have the biggest impact as far as making sure that he's assertive, making sure that he's attacking. When we need him to attack, when we know that they're going a little bit smaller, we need him to attack the paint because that just makes things easier for everything else. I think if Bam has a very impactful game, then we get the win tonight. Now, as Velveteer asking, are we going to play Jovic even a few minutes? That's a good question. I'll let any of you guys chime in before we close out.
I was
very sure last game, but now Spo. I know Spo doesn't lost now.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, if he didn't play him against Chicago, I doubt he's going to play him against Boston. But you know what? Spoelstra is full of surprises, so who knows? We'll see. But I would say no. If I have to bet on it, I would say no.
Yeah, for sure. My man Christopher Chen in the comments saying, I'm preaching about the turnovers always. Turnovers are key, man. You can't give the other team more possessions than you.
It's so hard to get the ball back. Well, I mean, yeah.
Exactly. And then if you don't, and then it usually ends up being a foul if they don't score anyways. It just it never works out. But like I said, I think the Heat do get it done tonight. I think this is a game that they probably had marked on their calendar as their game 1 of the season. I think they might have looked over Chicago and it bit them in the butt, right? But now they're going up against a team that they got booted out against last year. They're going to come in. I think they're going to have a very strong start to this game. And I think it carries through to the end of the game. And I think we get the win. Now, before you guys head out of here, make sure, like I said, you guys drop your predictions in the comments below. Make sure you guys like the video and then make sure you guys subscribe. If you all love the Miami Heat content, make sure you guys subscribe. Obviously, national media never gives us any love. So give your boy some love over here. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys check out our prizepicks.com. Tyler Hero sitting at 19.5 points. Go over on that. Use the promo code 5. Double your deposit up to $100. And then if you need to make sure you're financially planning everything in your life, reach out to Mark Brown PA. That's MarcBrownPA.com, and he'll take care of everything for you. Alejandro, take it away, my man.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here on the pregame show. This is the second part of our preview. Tonight, now we're going to go and listen to the players and Eric Spoelstra. We have 6 players and Eric Spoelstra talking about what happened in that first game of the season. Let's start with our guy, Kyle Lowry is going to be the first one here. QB1. Here we go.
What is it you saw that you feel like you can pinpoint as something you guys need to fix going forward?
Well, just defensively, gotta be better. Just figure out, defensively how we can guard a little bit better, get back in transition. A lot of things we can work on, but it's one game, so we got guys to get into some rhythm and get going a little bit.
How much does it help just pretty much having the core back from last year that you guys know what to do moving forward?
Yeah, we're fine. I mean, it definitely helps to having that core back, but, we still got to go out there and play. So that's a big deal for us. We got to go out there and still suit them up and play basketball.
Kyle, was there a particular reason maybe you weren't able to inject yourself a little more in the game, or is it just a matter of the way the game was flowing around other players?
The game was flowing around other players. I think those guys had it going earlier, and our teammates got it going earlier. My job is to get those guys in the right spots and make some open shots when I get them. And, tonight was not that night for me, but it's a long season, and I'm sure I'll get better.
What were the things you liked that you saw tonight?
Not much. We lost.
Celtics come in Friday, just a lot of fresh memories with them in the playoffs. What do you guys need to do to rebound from the loss tonight?
Play harder. Figure it out, play harder, and get just concentrate on what we got to do.
All right, that was Kyle Lowry talking about what happened in game 1 of this season, first game of the season against the Chicago Bulls. Let's continue with our coverage here, and welcome to all of you that are just getting here to our pregame show. We are happy to have you back. Remember to subscribe, to give it a thumbs up so we can continue growing here on the channel. We're about to reach the 20,000 mark, so let's try to get there tonight. All right, let's continue with Bam Adebayo and see what he said after a couple of nights ago, and they lost. Play harder, says Jeremy.
Bam, there were a couple of moments tonight when you made that dunk and finally got your first basket. You threw both hands in the air. When you finally made that short jumper and made your first jumper, you sort of nodded. What's it like to get so many good looks and seemingly have what you want and not see the ball go through the hoop?
The game of inches. I mean, that's basically how you got to look at it. You definitely have either positive outcome on this. I miss shots that, I make every day in practice, every day in shoot around. And they were off by inches. So, I mean, it's one of those games where what don't kill you make you stronger at the end of the day.
They kind of built that lead early in the third quarter. What did you kind of see that got away from you guys early in the second half?
I'd say our identity. We was turning the ball over, and then we was just giving them easy baskets in transition. We was letting guys get one-on-one baskets. And, we don't never leave our teammate on the island.
This is one of the best defensive teams in the league last year, and you guys are returning most of that team. Where is the defense right now, and how far away do you think it is from where you ultimately want it to be?
Not far. It's game 1. We're going to watch film tomorrow. And that's the thing about this season, 82 games, man. Nothing but building blocks and solutions. Black Lives Matter, people.
All right, that was Bam Adebayo. We're actually going to have another video of Bam from today's shoot around that's going to be coming up later here in the show. Let's continue now with the next one. That's going to be Caleb Martin talking about his first start with the Miami Heat this season.
Energy starting off the second half. Yeah. But overall, like I said, first game, still building chemistry with new guys, implement me in the start lineup. So, we'll work it. We'll work on it. We'll get it together.
What did you notice in the second half in terms of what you did defensively that allowed those kind of easy looks for them?
Just effort. We just had, to me, I feel like it was, we just didn't have that burst of energy start in the second half. I know, guys, we had a really energetic, tough first half, so we just got to do better kind of regrouping when we start having great starts on both first and second half. So.
Jimmy said that you guys kind of lacked communication. What are some of the things that you noticed during the game?
Yeah, I mean, we, like you said, lacked communication, so we kind of missed easy things that we pick up, whether it's guys being the help side, guys being on the bottom, for guys slipping and rolling, getting to shooters because they were knocking out shots. So I think a lot of communication. We're on our P's and Q's starting the second half, getting rotations, and guys got easy looks.
I know it's only one game, but was it a little bit surprising that was the issue tonight, just because you guys have been such a good defensive team and you have so many guys returning?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, that communication and having and bringing energy is something that should never be the issue. So, I mean, that's stuff that we realize. We all, just like y'all, realize it. So that's stuff that we'll get better at and, try our best to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Looking forward to Celtics on Friday. Do you guys ever think back of that's the team?
Yeah.
Season last year, what are your thoughts on that?
For sure. I mean, obviously it's a sentimental game for a lot of us right now, just because it's so, the turnaround is so quick playing them. And so obviously it's going to bring back bad memories in terms of last season, but it gives us a chance to, they're a great team, and we'll see how we line up with those guys. And obviously it's always good to kind of get a rematch with some of the guys you've been wanting to play for a while now. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Caleb Martin talking about that first start of the season. Thank you to Jermaine, to Star Fox, to Martin Jordan, and who else was around here? Jose Matos for your comments. Please continue to write them down here in the chat. Let's continue with our pregame show. The next one coming up is Tyler Hero. Let's hear from Tyler Hero and what he had to say. Remember, he's 19.5 points on PrizePicks, so go get him. Promo code 5 and get a 100% match on your deposit.
They started making shots defensively. I think they were too comfortable. We didn't put enough pressure on them on that side of the ball. It was just too easy for them.
The turnover issues in the second half, is that more you guys, or was there anything they were doing defensively that steadied that up a little bit?
I think it's it's all on us. Credit to them, they're a great team, but I think when we're at our best, we're at our best. And second half we started turning the ball over, getting out of our game. They were in transition, making shots, and from there it was just downhill.
How did you like the flow of it for the game for you? You got your start, came out guns blazing, and was it harder, I guess, finding your rhythm coming back from starting the game to getting back into it later?
No, I'm good. Just gonna continue to play my game. I'm good.
Tyler, I know defense is what you guys want to talk about, but as far as how they were playing you, they were blitzing you, and how you were able to play pick and roll band, were you seeing and getting to what you guys wanted to get to there?
Yeah, offense isn't the problem. We can score with anybody. We've got a bunch of guys who can, affect the game on that side of the floor. Defense is where we're going to hang our hat, especially down the stretch. So we'll watch film and get better from it today.
Just as far as how you guys are playing together, does the defense feel like it's kind of at the same point as it was at the start of last year?
I can't even remember last season. I don't even know what happened in the first game.
Tyler, on the defense, DeMar didn't get left alone too many times. It didn't really matter what you threw at him. I know he's DeMar, but how frustrating is it when I know he's in any elite guy? Sometimes it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, he was hitting a lot of tough shots. We were switching, showing, blitzing, doing a lot of different coverages. I think the last shot was one of the toughest, going right, fading. Just tough shots. Like you said, guys like that, once they see a couple go through, it doesn't really matter whether you're there or not. So, like I said, they're just too comfortable. They're able to see the rim and, really playing at their pace and getting whatever they want.
I know this is just one of 82, but just how much does a loss hurt to start?
It hurts for sure. I think everyone comes in, at home, opening night, you want to get the win and keep the spirits high, keep the energy high. But, I think you look at it as a positive. Come in tomorrow, we'll watch some film and, get better from tonight.
Quick, just in case we miss you tomorrow, Celtics are here Friday, just a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. What are you most looking forward to?
Just to bounce back from tonight, not really making it, a personal matchup between them. Just worried about ourselves, this early in the season. We'll see them, I'm sure, in the playoffs again at some point. So just, like I said, worrying about ourselves, watch some film, and we'll get better on defense.
All right, that was Tyler Hero talking about tonight's matchup as well, not making it a personal revenge or a rematch. They just want to bounce back from that loss in game 1 of the regular season against the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday. Let's continue now with our next guest here. No, it's not a guest. It's Coach Spoelstra coming up, talking about what happened in that first game of the season. Here we go.
Early in the first half, this in that third quarter, what got away from you guys defensively?
Yeah, it was a combination of a couple things. Defensively, we weren't making multiple efforts, and our next play speed to make the third and fourth effort that was necessary. We weren't getting to that, and then DeRozan just got fully into his comfort zone. Seemed like he was dribbling right to his sweet spots without any kind of duress, and that's not only our defense. Like he's a great offensive player, but when you're dealing with great offensive players, there's going to have to be those kind of extra efforts on top of that just to get him out of his sweet spots. And we did not handle that well. And then, we had a lot more turnovers in that second half that just kind of compounded those defensive, miscues.
Bam, there's been a lot of talk about getting more shots, but how important is it for him to get the right shots? And did you think tonight was just a case of just him missing early, taking him off his game?
I mean, that's an anomaly. He was missing point-blank shots. That what that could have done, possibly give us a little bit more of a cushion in that first half, but hey, that happens. Even if he made some of those, that still wasn't going to overcome what we weren't able to do defensively in the second half as a group. And we'll clean that up. Our defense was not sharp tonight, and particularly in that second half. Well, even in the first half, they scored almost 60 points, and we're doing it pretty easily. So we have to shore that up. We have to get back to our identity defensively for sure.
Was Kyle too passive today? Was he maybe trying to let the game
you guys
feel
keep on
itself
talking
out?
about offense. I mean, we're just giving up like crazy amounts of easy baskets and things that we'll have to clean up defensively just to get back to our identity. And then the turnovers in the second half. It's tough to get in any kind of rhythm when you're not getting stops and you're turning the ball over. So I don't know. I'll have to look, but that tends to lead to frustration when you're not doing either of those things well, taking care of the ball or defending.
How tough is it to clean those things up, though, when you're, 4 and 6 days to start the year or something?
Yeah,
You got to have a day off in there somewhere, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'll be good to have a film day and a teaching day, and we haven't really had one of those in training camp since we've had a lot of practice time. We've basically just been hitting the wood and trying to prepare that way. So I think a good teaching session, is probably appropriate right now.
It's what DeMar does, but it seemed like fouls are kind of getting you guys a little bit. Is that some opening night, just energy kind of getting the better of guys?
No, I think it was, I don't know if that led to it, energy of the first night, but our attention to detail to the game plan and really making multiple efforts to get him out of his sweet spots. If he continues, repeatedly to get to his sweet spots, it doesn't matter who you are. He's going to make you pay for that, and he was comfortably operating from 16 to 18 feet, pretty much at will in that second half, and we paid for that. And some of those, were the bailout fouls, and he does a great job. He's one of the best in the history of the game that knows how to draw fouls, and that's why it's so important to get players like him out of that sweet spot. And that requires a lot more attention to detail and some multiple efforts. But, we'll work to clean that up.
Caleb seemed like he was having an impact early on. What did you notice in terms of why they were able to kind of limit his touches later on, and then your overall thoughts on his first start?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he brought some really good things, his energy and his versatility on both sides of the floor. That's something that we'll definitely be able to build on. Overall, we just weren't very good defensively. And look, you have to credit them. They're the second best offensive team in the preseason. They were one of the best offensive teams last year before they had their injuries. You have to be on top of it with detail, with your effort, with your toughness. There were some 50-50 plays that, were swing moments potentially, in that second half, and they seemed to come up with a lot of those loose balls.
So on the topic of Caleb, we've seen him size down in the past, guard all positions, point guards, everything along those lines. What is your comfort level, I guess, with him sizing up on the switches, obviously, and guarding centers? What is your comfort level with that?
I'm comfortable with that, depending on who the center is. I don't think we got beat up in that regard. There were some more perimeter, miscues that we had, like either getting DeRozan out of his sweet spots, or once they put the ball on the floor, that next play speed to be able to get to some of those kickouts. We weren't very good in that regard either. Okay, thank you.
All right, that was Eric Spoelstra talking about what happened in the first game of the season against the Chicago Bulls. The Miami Heat playing tonight against the Boston Celtics, the rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember, the Miami Heat lost in Game 7 here at home at FTX Arena last year. They're seeing each other for the first time since that happened. Let's continue with our pregame show. The next one coming up now, it's going to be Max Strus. Let me find it right here. Max Strus. This was today in today's shoot-around. Here we go.
Get out those errors here, but we just need to play with more grit and play harder. Our defense needs to pick up, and we understand that. And I think guys, take it to heart, and we'll bounce back today. And it's easy because we got some extra motivation today against Boston.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Any extra motivation to be facing these guys rather than any other team?
I mean, obviously, they knocked us out last year of what we wanted to accomplish, so. There's always that. I mean, obviously, it's only the second game of the season, but that's always going to be in the back of our minds.
Max, how many times have you looked at that play to see if your feet went back? How did that stick with you?
I stopped looking. I mean, I've seen it enough to know what actually happened, so it's over now. I mean, that was in the past.
When a scorer leaves a team, there's talk, well, X number of players need to take a few more shots. When a defensive guy like PJ is gone, where specifically, you guys need to really pick up that slack?
Defense is a team thing, so it's not one guy that's going to make or break us, so we'll be all right. I know PJ's a great player, and we loved having him here, but, we just need to be better all around, and we got the guys to do it, so we'll figure it out.
Max, what else kind of sticks with you from that series? You talk about that one play, but anything from your game in that series, anything from Boston that kind of, sticks with you going into this game?
Nah, I mean, it's just the fact that they ended our season. That's really it. That's all we care about, and we're just moving on to this season and ready to get back after it.
I'm curious with that new take foul rule. Has that impacted you guys at all, and how do you kind of prepare to adjust to that new rule?
No, I don't think I've ever taken a take foul in my career, so I haven't thought too much of it. I don't know if some of our vets don't like it, but I haven't seen it be a problem yet.
Good, thank you.
All right, that was Max Strus talking about tonight's game against the Boston Celtics. I'm sorry. We have a couple of comments coming in. Thank you, Star Fox, saying firepower. Alan Peter saying something very important, and it's true. Goran Dragic had a great game against the Miami Heat in that first game of the season. That's true. It was one of the reasons why the Chicago Bulls came back on the Miami Heat and won that first game. Fernando Lopez, can we trade Lowry before the game starts? That's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. No, they cannot trade Lowry before the game starts. All right, let's finish our pregame show tonight with Bam Adebayo again. We already listened to what he said right after the game, but this is from today's shoot around. So let's see if he said something different. Bam Adebayo coming up.
Look forward to not shooting like that again. But one game, just to get it, guys getting used to playing, their minutes. So first game of the season, get all the nerves out, all the butterflies, and then continue this process to be better.
It's only game 2, but you guys are taking on Boston, and considering what happened last year, is there more emphasis for you guys? Like, is there more? Like, does this feel a little bit different? Like, even though it's only game 2 because of the opponent?
Game by game, man. Take it game by game. Opponents gonna be opponents, but at the end of the day, we want to win every game. That's the mindset. So, I feel like there's no, obviously, the history between us. It's a little dogfight in that, but other than that, just game by game mentality.
You kind of take from that series in the weeks after and the months after into the off season, you individually and you guys as a team.
I mean, we all went home. That's bottom line. The team, organization, staff, we got sent home. So that's something to think about, when you go out there on that court.
Curious with this new take-foul rule, how you guys prepared individually, how you guys prepared as a team to adjust to that?
I mean, the loophole is you just go for the ball. We usually do that. We usually try to get back, try to save possessions. So I mean, for us, just trying to go for the ball is the main detail in that rule.
What have you been telling him? Because we know he didn't play game 1. What kind of things have you been telling him just to keep him ready?
I mean, when I got here, I didn't play until what? November, mid-November, early December, something around that. So it's a pecking order. But when his moment's called, be ready. We got this saying, UD created it. Hey man, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And he's been doing that day in, day out. Y'all see him in the game not playing, but behind the scenes he's working out, watching film, staying ready.
How do you feel Tyler has fit in with the starting guys and from the get-go his preparation with you guys?
I mean, it's been great. He's taking that responsibility. He's definitely taking advantage of his moment, and we want Tyler to be who he is. We want Tyler to be that guy. So, for us, it's just him being comfortable in his role.
Referee Tony Brown passed away yesterday. Did you have any interactions with him, when he would work your games, or any impressions of his style out there on the court?
Tony was one of those referees. He never let us get under his skin. Through all the 50-50 calls and us blowing up about it, intense moments, he was one of those referees I can go up to and say it with my emotion, but he wouldn't take it that way.
You have to watch that with some guys?
Yeah, because you'll get teched up quick in this league. They don't care about, your 2,500. But that's the thing. We could blow up and have our moment because we're human. Like, we think that's a bad call. We got the right to express ourselves. Some referees get offended about it. Tony was one of those guys I could blow up. He'd be like, well, man, like, from my angle, it was a foul. He kept it cool, calm, and collected. So, for me, man, sad he's gone. Sending my condolences to his family.
Ben, is there any extra juice playing the Celtics tonight?
I mean, I guess you can say that, yeah. It's early in the season, but yeah, the past history we have with them, and then also, obviously, they knocked us out of the playoffs last season.
Is it in you to be more of a scorer? I know people around have said that you need to score more, you should score more. Is that in you, or do you like to just kind of go with the flow of the game?
I'm asked what's needed. this year I'm actually take a bigger role in scoring.
And for the player intros you all had, Rick Ross, the player intros, how does that help motivate you all, get you all hyped?
I mean, Ross comes around here often. And for me, I listened to Rick Ross since I was younger, so being able to meet the guy is a big moment for me because, he's been one of the best artists out. And having him on our jumbotron, really trying to be in the community, try to breathe his life the culture way. It's just utmost respect. And then obviously he's been with the big three and he had that history. So just trying to carry that torch. It's just respect for me.
And Bam, this is your fifth season in the league.
Six.
Oh, sixth season.
Yeah, six.
But you spent a lot of time in the community, the Liberty City area, particularly. What's your relationship like with the Liberty City Warriors and the Happy Park area?
Like this. That's one of my many homes. Every time I get a chance to do something in the community, I go there first. I know the people, that feel like they're family. So just for me, giving back is the biggest thing. Taking care of the community is one big thing for me.
Jason starting at the 4, kind of, in the Celtics during a front court by committee, does that change anything defensively for you guys?
No, ma'am.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Black Lives Matter, people.
All right, that was Bam Adebayo before tonight's game, and that would conclude our pre-game show tonight on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us again. If you haven't done so, please make sure you subscribe, you give it a like here, a thumbs up on this video, and also turn on the notifications so you get one every time we go live or we upload a video here on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. That's it. We're gonna go back tonight to our regular planned for the post-game show. So for all of you that watched last Wednesday's pre-game show, tonight's going to be totally different. We're going to be doing Five on the Floor live, the Five on the Floor live post-game show. So make sure you tune in as soon as we are done here with the game, the Miami Heat facing the Boston Celtics. That, by the way, it's going to be on ESPN tonight. You can come here and enjoy our post-game show with some of the guys on the Five on the Floor crew. So make sure you come back here and enjoy our post-game show as soon as the game is over. Have a good night. Enjoy the game. And let's go Heat. We'll see what happens tonight. The Miami Heat can come back and bounce back after losing game 1 of the season, or if they go 0-2 in the first 2 games of the year. Have a good night. I'll see you soon here, and bye-bye.